field interests you, you need to go after it. Like futsal, right? You will be exposed to the best of the best. I mentioned buildings are easy to build. Think of the reason they're so successful in Frisco is the organizations inside them. Cowboys love football and sports. They don't need government to tell them how to make it successful. They really know what they're doing. The Hunts, Dan Hunt, Clark Hunt, they love soccer. They are very passionate about it. They make it work. Let me tell you, look at soccer. What they're doing there is changing the dynamic of how that works in this country. You may not see it, but last year they had 5 homegrown players on their team. Young guys that they grew through their system. They built a club system that's second to none. They have arms in Oklahoma City and South Dallas. They got them everywhere. And they're creating and building players. They're developing players. Why is that important? Many of you may look at sports as fun. This is also a business. They want to be successful at doing it. They love the sport. They don't always make money, but sometimes they'd like to. So in Europe, where the value is not in the game per se, it's in the players. Those players that are homegrown are owned by the clubs, and they trade them and they sell them. That's happened already in Frisco. So they have homegrown players that have actually built and they've sold them to other teams. Okay. So you're seeing that dynamic taking place today. It's brand new for the U.S. It's built. It started right here. Okay. They first had to build a club system, a very strong club system, and they grew their own players through it. That is so. FC Dallas was the #1 team in the MLS last year. They got first place. They ended up losing in the playoffs, but they got first place. They had 5 homegrown players on the team. These are young guys that are playing seasoned professionals around the league, and they were running circles around them because they were kind of trained from the ground up right here. So there's a lot of innovation taking place. You may not see from the outside looking in, but if you pay attention, you'll see it. So what I would tell you is go engage. I'd say what we did with the Cowboys and all the other sports teams is gave you the opportunity, but you still have to take it. You have to go through that door. Okay? There's nowhere else quite like Frisco to take advantage of it if you're interested in those fields. And my guess is every one of you loves doing something that has a fit. And whether it's healthcare, whether it's actual sports, whether it's marketing, all those are organizations inside the Cowboys. I can tell you, the Cowboys, not by accident, they're valued that much. They really know what they're doing. They are very organized and they know how to operate a company. So you can't underestimate those opportunities. What else?
So,
what would you say the biggest benefit financially from all this is?
For us, for the city, is really, we got 2 things we're looking for, is keep the taxes low and keep the quality of life high, the opportunities high. And the #1 thing we always strive for is job creation. Everyone deserves an opportunity to earn a living. That's what makes people happy. Not only provide for their family, but it gives them a sense of work. So creating jobs is probably the motivating factor for all of this. So the biggest return for us has been creating jobs and bringing people here. Because outside tourism creates revenue where we can invest in public safety, in roads, and creating those jobs. So it really is about a return, where a company owner will invest their dollars into a company to get a financial return. Our return is job creation and quality of life. It's not just making money. It's really not about that. So that's worked well for us. Good question. What else? Oh, easy. We got softball questions here.
at what point in your career did you start just realizing that this could be the sports mecca that it has become?
Say after we landed FC Dallas, we already had a strong amateur sports. We started talking right away about baseball, the Rough Riders and then the Stars. It became, you could see the kind of excitement around it, and the models we used, the financial models, really were easy. It's amazing. So let me give you an example. Dallas Cowboys. this is really to do with the financial models. We invested taxpayer dollars, $90 million, right? And the school district invested $30 million. Well, the school district was already going to build a football stadium for $30 million. So they already had the money allocated, orders approved, so they just shifted that money over to the stadium instead of build theirs. Well, financially, they're not so wash. Well, not really. So my understanding is, and probably a better question for the school district, but a typical high school soccer and football stadium in Texas, not the ultra big ones like Allen McKinney, but the typical one like Frisco would build, probably is between $300,000 and $500,000 a year to operate every year. That's just to operate, keep the lights on, maintain. It's not cheap to operate a football stadium. School district doesn't pay anything. Not only do you all play in the best stadium in the country, basically, not only do you get opportunities to work in it and operate things in it, school district, there's no ongoing cost. Top of that, usually like you have a football stadium, you have a little scoreboard, right? And sometimes you get sponsors, goes to the PTAs or whatever. Well, that deal was set up with the Cowboys to do sponsorships too, but they finally came to the school district and said, you know, that's just too complicated. Tell you what, we'll do all the sponsorships and we'll give you 10%. It's kind of big, that's a lot of money when you're talking about Ford and all the other, you know, Dr. Pepper and, you know, all those sponsors, and you have the best organization in the world selling it. And it really is good what they do. So there's a financial benefit. And then, wasn't there like a Nike deal the school district got, about $2 million worth? Okay. And then the status of learning from the best, whether it's marketing or sports medicine. So financially, it made a lot of sense. That model is used at Toyota Stadium, it's used at Dr. Pepper Arena, it works really well. And so I think that's where the strength really is. What else?
What are you going to do when you're done your term?
I don't know, good question. You know, Frisco is really, really busy right now, busier, and I'm, just for you all, there's term limits in Frisco, I'm done in May. Actually, first meeting in June is my last meeting as mayor, so I get to go relax a little bit. It's 9 years I've done this, and it's time to really probably focus on some other things, but I can tell you, I don't know. That's because we're so busy right now, I really don't have time to think about it. I'm leaving Wednesday, talking about U.S. Conference of Mayors, I'll be in D.C. We have an executive meeting up there, and I'll be in D.C. again on the 13th, and I'm actually bringing, hopefully we'll find a way to incorporate some of the schools in this. I know NYU is coming down April 8th. I'm hosting the U.S. Conference of Mayors, so the bigger city mayors from around the country here in Frisco for the Sports Alliance meeting. We'll probably meet at the Cowboys facility and kind of show them those models, because a lot of them are really learning from us. And I don't care if it's New York or Chicago, they all want to know how we set some of this stuff up. I'm going to relax. That's the answer to that question.
Frederick.
What else? I don't know how long we had here, so.
Thank you.
Are you okay on time, or?
Oh, you're good.
Okay. Any other questions? Easy bunch. Frisco's 160,000 people today. And build out, it'll be approximately 375,000. A lot more companies, a lot more things happening here. So by the time you're done in college, you come back and work here. There'll be plenty more jobs here. And there's a lot, if you're into sports, I think you'll get from the school district a lot of colleges, Columbia is mentioned, NYU, they have very, very strong sports programs. And don't be surprised if some of the local ones grow into those a little bit better too. UNT's right here in Frisco now, Collin College, they're doing a lot more in the sports management area. So sports is a big business, and it's not just athletes. Athletes is a very small percentage of the sports world. There's a lot going on there.
Pepperdine's still going to come out? Are they still talking about?
Pepperdine, I heard there's Pepperdine, there was a couple other schools, but I haven't heard anything like that. Very good to have them out here.
Good.
And they're talking about a presence in playing over Frisco.
That's it.
I had a nephew that went to Pepperdine, nice school. I think we can give them the scenery they have up there, overlooking the ocean on the cliff. It's cool.
Highway 1's falling into the ocean up there, right?
Yeah. Beautiful highway. What else?
Anybody got anything?
And so let me ask you all, so how many of you are really considering sports fields, whatever that may be, as a career? Several of you. So tell me what they are. What do you think?
Really don't know.
Exploring? Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot there. Have you hand up?
Yeah, I don't know yet.
You don't know yet?
I'm working at Exos right now, so like marketing and accounting and stuff.
Help and stuff? Well, perfect place for that.
I want to do like brand marketing. for
Brand
professional
marketing.
teams.
Make sure you get in the facility and operate that stuff. Really, it is better than any professional stadium out there. It's the state of the art. I don't know over here. Who else?
Wanted to like major in marketing or finance, basically, and minor in sports.
Very good. Yeah. That's where everything is. Marketing.
I was thinking about like sports management or maybe trying to get into statistics or analytics.
And that's probably the fastest growing sector of sports. Analytics, data analytics, they're all over it. If you talk to Donnie, he'll tell you that's the biggest thing they're looking at. So that's a good field. It really is. You know, there's a lot of technology. If you go in the stadium, you'll see things that you may not think about. Who's been in the stadium, Sports Center? No, pretty much all of you, right? Yeah. Remember the lights? Those are LED lights. Okay, well, that's technology, right? Well, this is the first time they've used LED lights in a stadium. You know why? I didn't know this. You learn a lot. LED lights interfere with HD broadcast. Been problematic. Okay. So these LED lights are actually the newest, coolest type things. They can tune the frequencies of them to not interfere with HD lights. It's new technology. An average person doesn't see that. Not to mention, it's about 20% of the light usage of any regular lights and heat and all that, but it's pretty high tech. So this stadium, if you look in the production room that actually controls the video and the cameras and all that, it's more advanced than any NFL stadium out there. They chose to put the best equipment in it, so you'll be trained on it. Let me put it to you this way: if you could do an intern in this facility, when you go to college, it'll be a step down for you. There's really nowhere else that has that. So you'll know more than maybe your professors in college. So take advantage of those opportunities. That's it?
We're
Got it
good.
covered?
Yeah,
Well, thank you all for having me here.
let's get a picture.